They'll be calling you a radical. Back to Plutonium Wars, Chapter 5. I've always been fascinated my entire life, really fascinated from the time I was a boy, how people cannot see things as they unfold. And I've always said since I was that big, I'm a huge fan of Malay. And I always like to step back and view like he did from the broader perspective in those incredible paintings. By the way, we've been working on a series, Thomas Ackerman and I together. We have a show going to happen. We finally got a major museum. We're going to be in the main thing on these paintings. But when Van Gogh did those incredible pieces on Malay, I've been so turned on by those since I was a little boy. By the way, I hear my Chair of Despair showed up I heard a copy of it. The guy put my name on it and everybody. I heard it posted and I got a photograph. It showed up in Vincent's home in Holland, in the Netherlands. Wow, how exciting, how excited. But I want to talk about the dynamic that's going in Russia right now. I cannot believe that people cannot see. We go back to, I've always been fascinated. You'll hear me go off on Naomi Klein and Chris Hedges and the dynamic now at play because they want to retrospect and go. I mean, it's like, okay, for instance, I said as Fukushima happened, we're the media now. I've been saying that the whole time, we're the media. Let's compare and contrast media. Let's compare and contrast. That's what PhDs do. That's what we do. That's what we do. We compare and contrast, but we actually get in the theater and do the work. Look, you have to have your hypothesis. Then you have to go out and prove your hypothesis. Then you have to your conclusion, and it's not peer review. It's important that we talk about this because what we have at brew is the perfect storm right now. By the way, I've lived here 54 years. We never had any winter this year. The birds didn't even go south. This is as far south they went. It's bizarro, and I mean bizarre. 20 degrees above normal every day, all day, the biggest drought. And here in Utah, they say, oh, no problem. When the Great Salt Lake's the lowest in its history, there are toxins coming off the lake. We don't even know what they are. My car was full of this black mud the other day, and I'm like, what the hell? The storms are reaching up off the lake and coming down. We don't even know what the hell it is. This country, American toxic. But, okay, let's compare and contrast. For instance, in 2003, teaching right there, I got in a lot of trouble. I'm like, they're lying. This is state-run media. So they gaslight you on BALCO. We come back how many years later? Oh, Brian Williams was lying. Oh, no, Biggie. I'm sorry. Are you kidding? I'm sorry. Are you kidding? You know what? The looting the treasury. By the way, this is the perfect storm that's a brew. Not just in the Ukraine, at Crimea, Russia. Putin's not playing. Gorbachev says it. These are plutonium wars. These are nuclear weapons and nuclear bombs on BALCO. We've had 2 nuclear plants explode over there. We've seen it as this Westinghouse was thrown out. You think I'm kidding when I say I pledge allegiance to the United States General Electric and Westinghouse. I'm not kidding. They kicked them out. They go back in. The fuel dynamic, the same thing happened to San Onofre, these cheaters and liars. Look, how can we not see what's a brew right now? Number one, the United States is broke off their ass. Have you looked at the debt rate? They're broke. They have a participation rate of under 50% for the first time in their history. Because alliances can be formed very quickly. Putin will form an alliance with the Chinese royals. You can see that great photograph. He's standing there with the Chinese royals, his wife. Now, is Putin the enemy? No. Look into their eyes, look into their face, and you will see the enemy. Look in the mirror, and you will see the enemy. The enemy is ignorance in the United States, as the military coup of 2000, very real. Bush did not win. Remember the leaner, cleaner freaking military, 99? What's happened since? Think about the Patriot Act. It takes how many votes in both houses to amend the Constitution? This is the greatest amendment to the in fact, it destroyed the Constitution. Mission accomplished. How many votes it take to be president? 6. 5 Supreme Court justices and your daddy that put them there. And let's remember, trace the Bush bloodlines back to Davis. Do you know about Davis? The corrupt Supreme Court justice, and I will quote Andrew Jackson. Supreme Court's illegitimate. It's a joke. I'll just pack the House. That's what they did. The playbook was set because it comes down to choices among men and think Putin says it perfectly. You're being played like a pawn and you're in by the geopolitical freaking pawns of the American freaking, well, not the American, the House of Windsor, the Western. What is the Western complex? The Western complex is the House of Windsor. We go back Yalta exactly today. Today, the deal was struck. The deal was struck today. 70 years ago today. Here was the deal. Yeah, you take Eastern Europe. We can't stop you. You lost 28 million men, Stalin. You know, the American propaganda that we were shoved down our throat. Oh, the commies are bad, the commies are bad, when right here was communism. The United Order in the United States. They forgot their socialistic ways here in Utah. Utah Deseret. So, as it goes forward, the war propaganda, the Patriot Act on BALCO, the media, we have state-run media here, and anybody that doesn't believe that is one ignorant fool. Anderson Valbill, Wolf, I mean, you know where Wolf Blitzer come from, Mossad. I mean, the whole complex, these are crooks, these are CIA rats, these are plants. I mean, when was the CIA go on BALCO? 1947. When did broadcast television go on BALCO? 1947. It's out of control. There are no checks and balances, and it still comes down to choices among men. So the deal was this. Okay, he said it. You could see Churchill's the odd man out. Look, in the Atlantic Conference, the original deal, which evolved into the so-called UN, which the UN was hijacked by the World Health Organization, the deal was this: no more royals. That's it. And they took them all out, and they were all taken out by the bullet, by the way. All of them. One was left standing, the House of Windsor. But that was the deal. Winston, you're done. You're done. Your royal system's over, jolly old England, who you've tricked people into doing your fighting for you for centuries. No more. It's over, baby. You know. Stalin's first word. So the agreement was this: we share the bomb. You don't think that freaking FDR knew that the Russians had it? The Russians had it. They were right on the brink of it. The Germans weren't even close. The Swedes and their heavy waters and the Norwegians that blew that boat up, by the way. So they had it. He knew they had it. What happened? What was Stalin's first words in April of 1945 when FDR drops dead? Who poisoned him? Winston dancing in the streets. The royal stand. The royal elite, the one inbred bleeding family. King George, you think that's coincidence she named that King George? No royal would dare set their foot on this freaking soil of the United States for a long, long time. I mean, this was the anti-royal freaking country. It was over. The war to end all wars, the United Nations, the Atlantic Conference, they backdoored the whole thing through nuclearism, plutonium wars. So it's going out, it's playing in the same place that it played out before. History repeating itself on BALCO. And I want to talk to you people that are talking about the live cams at Fukushima. Number one, we don't even know if those live cams are real. I'm reporting what I see with my own eyes, and you say, oh, you're going to cover. You're going to use freaking gaslighting like Brian Williams do. Oh, it's headlights, it's this. When are you guys going to freaking understand that you're fighting for them when you go there? This is a war. This is a war. I've been fighting this war my whole life. And this war is coming out to fruition in the Ukraine. Those people have no water. They're dead. I mean, this is a scary, scary gig, and it's a play right now. I mean, the United States sent in military advisors a year ago, almost 100 years to the day of World War I. They've got hardware there. When they start talking lethal, they're talking nuclear. Megan Rice, and this is another thing, is I like to step back and how can you not see? Now there's reports all over, oh, Megan Rice is in horrible condition. No, she's not. Where were you in between 2012? By the way, she broke in on July 28, 2012. You think she picked that day for a reason? Oh yeah, she knows exactly what she's doing. She was held in a federal detention in Georgia in 55 degrees for a year and a half, almost 2 years. She nearly died. I was going crazy about it. I've been to her jail cell 3 times. I don't see anybody, and I've talked to Carol Gallagher herself, you know, who is Megan Rice raised Carol, you know, American Ground Zero. Megan Rice, that's her pseudo de facto mother. She says, I can't even get to see her. I can't even get stuff in to see her. I've been told no how many times? I've been to her jail cell. She's in Brooklyn, or maybe in the Bronx, but she's in 1,000 times better facility than she was. Where are you? What, now you want to talk about it again? Brian Williams, now they gaslight you. Oh, you're going to come back all these years later. When the treasury's been looted, the freaking corrupt government's gone crazy. We've created the military-industrial complex on BALCO. It is the economy. Now, how do you turn it off? How do you shut it off? We got a perfect storm. We got a housing bubble. We got an old population that is freaking aging. The average baby boomer 60. There's 85 million of them here and in freaking Europe. The housing bubble is going to freaking fall apart, and everybody says, oh, the stock market's not going to fall apart because there's nothing American about the stock market. These companies are in China. They're exploiting the labor. They have slaves. They don't employ anybody here. They don't pay any taxes here. They don't live here. Every one of them should be ashamed of themselves. Steam Chinese jobs. The looting, as Ross Perot said it, whoosh. What comes with economic might, military might? Guarantee these alliances can form very quickly. Very quickly. There is a World War III that started. Well, World War IV. World War III never quit. That was called nuclear war. The Cold War is the hot war, and it never stopped. The Manhattan Project never stopped. They looted America. They looted America, and, you know, not going to happen, it happened. We have a cancer epidemic from hell going on. Fukushima, the greatest ecological catastrophe, happened, and you're still waiting for the main event. Well, you're going to get the main event. I'm here to tell you. And you want to write books about it 4 years later, maybe from the trenches, whatever. I'm telling you, this is so freaking unbelievable. The American populace and you war-beating freaking Americans are the most bloodthirsty, sickest bastards in history. The right in this country has been hijacked by the mentally insane Operation Foxconn. These people are warmonger mass in the name of Christ, Jesus Christ. Really? And then the left, oh, I'm an elitist in a cultural theme park in the youngest cultural theme park in world history, San Francisco. You know, because we love usury. Let's swim our children naked in the bay because we're cosmopolitans in San Francisco Harbor as Carnival Cruises dumping their freaking waste. I mean, it's outrageous. What? I can't believe this freaking place. And you, as so-called yourself-called activists, you're going to cover for them. You're going to gaslight for them, not me. Not me. And I want to say the greatest accomplishment of my life, no, the greatest accomplishment of my life is my children and my grandchildren, raising my children. The second greatest accomplishment is surviving AML leukemia in my body, given 2 months to live 39 months ago. You know, what a fight, what a story. But this is the literature of this era and this time. I will quote Jackson Pollock. How can you continue to paint in the old ways, in the old style, in the time of the atomic bomb? How can you continue to make literature and write anything in a time when it's been completely captured? I talked to Penguin on my book, publishing. They said to me, an executive says, Kevin, it's pay to play. You do know it's pay to play. And I says, I do know that. Huh. Well, I'll pay to play because I pay with my sweat and tears and blood. With this YouTube camera. You don't see modern day literature, you don't see this real visual literature in the hijacked thesis. You don't get it. Oh, I get it. I see it as it unfolds and as it happens. And you want to regurgitate, step back? Well, I'm seeing it as it happens right here, right now. Putin's not playing. You know, you don't understand European history as far as the Ottoman Empire and the Russian empires that existed for thousands of years. This American empire is the shortest one in history. They were 18th in military power in 1940. 18th. The industrial complex gone crazy and the Queen in her house of Windsor stands. When that deal was backdoored, I mean, fate, little teeny things, oh, you know, his death, it would have never happened. The whole thing when he died. You know, think about them placing Truman over Wallace right before that. I mean, wow. I mean, the fate, the Cold War on BALCO, mass murder. So many of you have had cancer and died, your children, autistic, whatever these occult diseases, because of nuclear, and you're in denial about it. Global warming, think about how 410 reactors freaking steaming into the atmosphere all day, every day. That's global warming. Radiation kills you. And I like you people say, oh, there's no data. You fools. Look at the American data. How about Richard Miller freaking under the cloud? You know, look at that map. You think he was just some crackpot scientist? You think John Gottman was some crackpot? You're a fool. You are a fool. Radiation exposure kills you. It gives you cancer years later and mows you down to, and there's no cure for cancer. And we are on the verge of an incredible nuclear war. One tactical nuke, boom, 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 boom. You think the Cold War can play out again? And just remember the Russians. Just remember the Tsar bomb. Thank God for Andrei Sakharov to back it off. We're on the verge of the end of all wars right here, right now, and you can't even see it. And the perfect storm, because America's broke. You know, Hamilton said we must have a perfect freaking credit rating, so we had to borrow money from the French to be able to do it. Not this time. Nobody's going to borrow us shit because they hate our guts, and rightfully so, because we are a bloodthirsty populace. We are a sick bunch of devils in hairspray. We kill, kill, kill. When you get out a map, you can show these people they couldn't tell you freaking, you know, Saudi Arabia from Iraq from France. For hell, they couldn't tell you New Jersey from Connecticut. They couldn't tell you Idaho from Utah. You task them a point in your direction to California, they got no clue. They're geographically illiterate. They freaking, yeah, let's go glass them, let's kill them. You know, we're talking the President of the United States didn't know the difference between Austria and Australia. Now you think about that. That's the dynamic of play here. And these freaking warmongers inside the freaking Pentagon, inside the freaking military-industrialist complex, kill, 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 kill. Your bottom line, Lockheed Martin, General Electric, freaking keep pushing, and there's nothing American about it. They've looted this country. It is betrayal. It's Benedict Arnold on BALCO, freaking Ayn Rand, freaking Paul. These are sick, sick, sick. The epidemic in America is ignorance, thus post-ignorance, and this is a dramatic, dramatic time that's going on right now. And I don't know where everybody is, but they're asleep. But you better wake up, because this could turn quickly and very fast. Stay in tune.